So Seatak works really, really well in the microfragmentation aspect, and that is taking fragments and gluing fragments onto coral plugs and nurturing them in a nurturing environment.
So just so I can hear you, it sounds like this Seatak glue works really great in a controlled environment, like exactly what you're doing here.
Correct.
Okay. What else would you use it for?
Well, Seatak can be used for a wide variety of applications. Everything from rockscaping to open reef restoration, and almost anything you can think about. So we have different form factors of Seatak. We have it in a tube like this. We have it in a syringe cylinder, which is used with a dispensing gun per se. We have it in a standard caulk tube that could be dispensed underwater in a caulk tube.
Can you use this one underwater too?
I can use that in an underwater environment as well. This is perfect for rockscaping and precision work where you would want to get up into crevices and squeeze and get right into the... It is much more beneficial than any other epoxy, hydrostatic cement, or other rockscaping materials because it is that slow set adhesive. It allows you the time to position and reposition as necessary.
So it's not epoxy?
It is not an epoxy. It is not a cyanoacrylate, and it is not a cement.
But it has the structure like epoxy and cement, and the slow cure to be able to manipulate it in your controlled environment.
Which, yes, you're absolutely correct. It functions extraordinarily well as a gap filler.
Oh.
Yes.
Tell me some examples of gap filling.
So you would have let's say a crevice or something where you would want to connect two different pieces, and you would want to establish enough of a joint so that there would be strength within that joint, so you could fill that gap up with a joint. Another example would be a shell of some sort that would maybe be attached in maybe 2 or 3 points, but there's a void underneath. You could get this up into that void and fill that void up to provide a wider surface area for adhesion. That is particularly useful for those large coral heads that you'd want to attach to a reef.
Would that work if you also had a hole drilled and you were inserting a coral on a stake or something of that nature? One
of the successful open ocean restoration activities is in fact that, and that is being used with black corals, where they are going out onto an open reef with an underwater drill, drilling a hole and filling that hole either with a tool like this or a caulk tube like this. They would fill that hole with Seatak and then insert the black coral into that hole, and that becomes the substrate for binding.
So they actually put the coral into the drill hole? Correct. And it sounded like there was a group that put a stake that they'd grown corals onto it into a hole too. So those are 2 different applications. And it works with metal and with rock and wood. It looks like it works with many different substrates.
Seatak sticks to a wide variety of substrates. So this is a urethane prepolymer that is highly loaded with calcium carbonate. So anything with a rock or a limestone or a calcium carbonate, it will stick really well to. But it also sticks really well to aluminum and steel and certain plastics, and the list really goes on. So if you can dream it, most likely it will stick to it.
Interesting.